This episode of The Casual is brought to you in part by Squarespace. For all your website needs, Squarespace delivers it in an all-around package to help you build a beautiful, integrated online presence.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Reggie Casual, hitting you with a special episode of Class. Now, Class is our Patreon-only series geared towards the education of fashion and personal brand building. And today we got something special to help you all out. How to simply, easily, and frankly, straightforwardly start a fashion brand. And forwardly isn't even a word, but we're gonna do it anyway. So without further ado, let's get into seven simple ways, some pros and cons with those 7 simple ways on how to do this. Let us get it. Okay, so up first is make something cheaper. It seems simple, but really that should be extended to make something that's already out there and quite popular and most likely expensive cheaper. That's right, I said it. Do the whole H&M minimal Zara thing. Listen, I didn't say it was ethical. I didn't say that. But there's a reason why these labels are making almond mounds of cash. You ever heard of almond mounds? Those are good. It's not the most creative thing in the world, and making something as a cheaper version of popular stuff is a recipe for environmental disaster, which is the biggest con, of course, but it is a viable business course of action. I'm not saying you should do this, but it is a simple way to get in the door. But a better tactic would probably be to make something kind of like what's popular, but still made well, but at like a third of the price. That way you're still defined by quality and you're not going full tilt into hurting Captain Planet. And of course, there's the kind of copying thing that, I almost sung that song. There's a whole copying thing that you'll be defined by. But hey, you started a brand, you did, right? You copied something, but you still got a brand. All right, how about this way, the next simple way. Now, because if you want to be a bit more ethical than just straight ripping, you could license the work of an artist and start your label that way. Of course, you would have to either pay up initially or give a portion of the profits to the artist, but it is a bit more creative because you are curating. This particularly works for those of you going in the graphic tee direction, but you may lack the technical skills artistically to get the job done the way that you want it to be done. Enlisting the help of someone else by partnering or licensing also sets you up with that person's fan base, requiring a bit less effort on the marketing strategy than say if you just started without any fan base at all. It is a good way to start, but it can get expensive and the artist may get tired of making stuff for you unless they're making tons of cash. You think of like Ed Hardy, or even better example is like Cause, who built an entire career from licensing his work and partnerships. So obviously it isn't the worst way to start your fashion brand. Another simple way to start a label is to get out of the label thinking and go into product development, i.e. make a unique product. Often when we think of making a label or fashion brand, cats want to be like, make full-blown collections with like 20 shirts, 2 outer pieces, some pants, probably some accessories. I need some hats, wallet, all kinds of stuff. What this often leads to is like half-ass pieces that could have been whole-ass pieces had you been more patient. Never half-ass anything, whole-ass something. Anybody that I do a fashion consultation with, I ask the same question every time. If you could make any product you want, no restrictions, just the ultimate product that represents your fashion endeavor, what would it be? And they usually have an answer. And my question immediately after is, well, why the hell aren't you making that? Because that product sets you apart, and that product is going to be what sells your brand. Ding. In fact, unique products are an easier sell because it's the mark of your work, and you'll be far more excited to tell people about it than say like a logo t-shirt with your cool name. Making a unique product is time consuming and can be expensive, yes, because of the sample making process. But if you aren't afraid of sharing that process, you can garner support well before release of that product. And you don't have to deal with the flawed logic of, you know what, first I'm gonna sell these t-shirts, get some cash flow, then once I do that, I'm gonna make better pieces. Except you're forgetting the part where you have to actually sell the shirts, and there's no guarantee you'll sell enough to make your better pieces. And I can tell you that most people who bank on that strategy often lose big time. It's better to spend your money on something that's more expensive and unique and an easier sell to the right market than to make something that's cheap, hoping you can make enough cash flow to make that better thing. Look up the up and coming label Akashikama. I think they're coming out of the Bay Area, and see how they take one product like the Noragi, Kimono mitaina, and enhance it to sell the brand. They just use that product and they say, yo, this is what we do. We got other stuff, but this is what we specialize in. And they're growing because of it. One of the most famous ways to start, we're actually on to the next one. One of the most famous ways to start a fashion label is to collab with a clique. That should be a song. i.e. sponsor a movement and or individual that is a leader in that movement. Now there are plenty examples of this. You have Supreme, they did with Skaters Palace as well. Bape did it, Vans, Nike, Lululemon, the list goes on. When we talk about leaders in a movement or a movement, it's important to understand that those things don't need to be hugely famous things or people. They can be mid-tier or even ground level, but with incredible potential. As those movements or people get bigger and more successful, as does your brand. The only real con is that this requires a bit of patience, but it is worth it in the end. This ensures that you and your brand don't have to be the center of attention. In fact, it's the people or community you represent that is the center of attention, which is great for a brand. So let your brand become a part of a journey of someone or some movement becoming more popular. That's what Lululemon did with yoga, and now look where they at. Now, you think of yoga like, yo, I need some yoga gear. I don't know if somebody's saying it like that, but you're like, I need some yoga gear. And be like, yo, just go to Lululemon. Lululemon. That's how you say it in Japanese. Lululemon. It's messed up. Now we got 3 to go, but before we get into those 3, let's get in a word from our sponsor, Squarespace. A big part of this fashion industry is presentation. That's why Squarespace offers up professional, clean, and easily customized website themes that will have you presentation ready from jump. So no matter if you're running an up and coming label or just want to sell some novelty merchandise, Squarespace's e-commerce options, social media integrations, and robust analytics and data-driven backend make selling, promoting, and managing your website incredibly easy. All that, and you can save 10% when using our code squarespace.com/thecasual when you sign up. So why are you hesitating? Get started and make that website using Squarespace today. The last 3 are among my personal favorites, mainly because they have a bit more business built in and or require less of a risk as far as startup costs. So it doesn't mean that they're less expensive, it just means that the risk is less. So let's go ahead and get into it. Starting from the bottom, we got number 3, start a boutique or shop. I love this one because it's super traditional and it still works. Basically, instead of starting another brand out of thin air, become a buyer, curate some brands that are within the same aesthetic as your potential idea and sell them until you're ready to put your own brand alongside them. I know this sounds dummy expensive though, but if you play it right, it's actually less of a risk because you don't necessarily have to have a brick and mortar store to do it. You could be an online boutique and just have limited stock. You could do that. The reason this is lucrative is because you can establish your boutique as a purveyor of an aesthetic. Once the aesthetic is set in stone and your clientele understands the direction, you can hit them with the in-store label that takes on similar properties of the other brands you sell. You see that? This way you can employ several tactics at once. You can create a limited, smaller focused collection. The clientele and or community is baked in, and you can provide similar clothes of the theme of the ones that you're already in your shop. If you didn't understand that little mumbling part at the end, just ask your black friend, they know what I said. Anyway, fair warning for this method, it is hefty as far as capital is concerned, but it pays dividends because you're not necessarily selling a brand, because the best boutiques sell an aesthetic or an idea, and that's an awesome place to be. Stores in Japan like United Arrows and Sons, Beams, they do this all the time and absolutely kill the game. So you know this method is legit, and you'd be surprised to know that they have very humble beginnings. They didn't start off with huge amounts of cash. They just had an idea, an aesthetic. It's a good way to go. Numero 2, or dos, ni banme, that's the better language for me, ni banme. Make a personal brand. Now, people know how I feel about personal branding. I love it. It's one of the most effective ways to build a business from the ground up because you already have name recognition, and name recognition goes a long way. But it's not enough to just have name recognition. You have to show people that the work that you're putting out adds value to their lives in some way. Like, are you a photographer? Focus on your craft and build a following. Are you a painter? Showcase your stuff in galleries and show them on Instagram, whatever. Do you have some kind of talent? Showcase it on TikTok or whatever the heck, Reels, I don't know. Do you have some kind of information that's worth a lot and you're willing to share it for almost free? Then get your almond mound on YouTube. People love stories, and what better story is there than the story of you and your come up? The only way personal branding doesn't work is if you're afraid that people won't like what you have to offer. So I'm about to relieve that fear and stress, because there are going to be people that will not like what you have to offer. And that's totally fine. There's people who don't like me right now. I don't care. It's not for them. Building a brand off your own back, your own talent, and your own skill ensures that you have an audience that will listen if you make them a part of the process. But understand that if you go this route, intention must be built in. You have to go in knowing what you are planning. So if you plan to build a fashion brand, understand that the personal branding that you are doing right now is all to ensure a healthy following of people that will believe in your eventual product. There's a reason why YouTube brands exist, because those people who did it noticed a while ago that it's a very simple transition and people are listening. I get a lot of people scoff at the idea of YouTube cats who make brands, but honestly, these individuals who think like that are being very short-sighted, because building a following can be just as difficult as selling a brand. In fact, ask how many brands out there would love to have the following of some of these content creators. They take it in a heartbeat. You know how I know? Because they keep on contacting content creators to review their brands, including us. So of course, they would want the same kind of following. Because no matter how great of an artist you are, in order for you to continue, you gotta sell. So don't be afraid of branding yourself out. Who cares how you did it? It's your life. Don't live for haters. There's absolutely no con for building yourself up. That sounds weird, right? And there's no con in letting people know about it. We literally do that as humans all the time. That's why people go to effing college, university, or trade school and put it on their resume. I got magna cum laude and I did this. You're always advertising yourself. Why is it so bad when people know about it and I use it to do something else? That's like human 101. Like, we do that naturally. Don't get mad at that. Stop being a hater if you act like that. And number one, solve a problem. A business is built on the backs of those who solve problems that we didn't even know existed. From Steve Jobs to Levi Strauss, business is a problem-solving venture. New Balance, Louis Vuitton, Nike, Under Armour, Apple, Instagram, YouTube, PayPal, Discord, Clubhouse, Squarespace. They got two. And Squarespace just got two. I should get paid a little bit more for that. Seriously, if you have a brand that solves a problem by either using technology or providing something for an underrepresented community, you are golden, because it's the most sellable thing. You're just saying, yo, I fixed that problem for you. Great. That's an easy marketing pitch. If it fixes the problem well. I mean, that's what Shark Tank is all about. The best ideas come from people who establish problems that exist in the marketplace, create a product that fixes that problem efficiently and easily, and have tested the efficacy of said product. Ding ding. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's damn sure the most lucrative. Like establishing a brand that uses sweat-wicking fabric, but it's more stylish than simple athleisure. Or creating a belt that can charge a phone. I don't know. Or creating shoes where you can take them off and put them on easily. I think Nike already made that. Creating a product that reduces waste. I mean, there's 1,001 ideas out there that you can think of, is the point. And you may be thinking like, hey dude, I'm not like an inventor. I'm not like E=mc squared theory of relativity, Albert Einstein, Alan Turing. I'm not that, all right? I'm not. And I can be like, yeah, man, that's okay. Because you can take what's already out there and change it to suit a totally different market. Like, you don't have to invent a thing. You don't have to do it. You can take existing tech and use it in a different way. You may have to license the idea, but you're still solving a problem. You're still reaching a market. You could reach out to people who created it and partner with them. You could do that. I mean, companies do this all the time, but it also doesn't even have to be a big problem. It could be like a small problem with big usage. What matters most is you're solving something. And sometimes it's just solving something in a different way. It takes a lot of thought and research to do it this way, but it's better than starting from scratch and hoping that cool is gonna sell your brand. So those are these simple ways, but keep in mind that while they're simple in theory, all of these methods will still take time. Don't be in a rush to be the next young, massively popular designer and or brand. It's a process. Some people do get lucky and are in the right place at the right time. And you could be that too, as long as you are fearless and understanding how you will approach the game. But it's likely it won't happen, so be patient. And good luck to you, and keep it going and keep learning. That's what this is all about. It's about the journey, not the destination. And if you have anything else to add, maybe some tips, or if you have questions, let it be known in the comments. And if you want full lessons on starting a brand, personal, or fashion, join us on Patreon for our series class, where we give you the rundown on the entire process, or just kick it with us on our private Discord. Massive amounts of conversations be happening there. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international street fashion culture and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And I will see you guys in a minute. I don't know why I said it like that. I'll see you guys in a minute. I was thinking of something in another language. I don't know why I was doing that. Yeah. じゃあ今日はここまでです。I don't know why I did that. That was a strange ending.